Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you to Creating Cards with Debbie. My name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas. And I want to thank you for being here today. Be sure that you comment when you come on so we'll know that you're here and we can acknowledge you. And if you're not in Arkansas, be sure to say which state you're watching me from. It's kind of fun to see where everyone is. So let me bring my laptop up and see if we can get things rolling this afternoon. Hold on tight. I guess I need to do a refresh. Bring it up here. I know last week I had to switch to my iPad, so I've got it sitting here just in case we need to. Let's put it on live chat. I switched my internet connection around too on my laptop. Maybe that would make the difference today. Showing that we're live. It's pulsating on my other one. I don't know why. It's doing the same thing that it did last week for some reason. And hold on a second, I'm trying something else here. It looked like I switched it to YouTube or something. It's kind of weird. But I don't watch it on YouTube until later. All right. I think I've got it up live. We're going to see what happens. I may have to switch later on, but for now, we're going to go with it right this way. And I'm not seeing my comments. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and turn you down here, and we'll get started. Hopefully we don't have any issues. So, hold on tight. And it looks like we may be cooperating today, which is a good thing. And I'm deciding if I want to zoom it in just a tiny bit. Maybe right there. All right. A little bit crooked. And I'm going to scooch it over just a little bit to the right. Here we go. And I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move on me. All right, so let's get started here. Get our lighting over here better. Okay, like I said, I'm Creating Cards with Debbie, and you can shop any of the products that we're showing today in my store, which is in www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And if your order is under $150, use the July host code, which is JWPPHDHH. And remember, that's for any orders that are under $150. So I'd appreciate that. And I just lost my screen again, but we're going to continue. I know last week it still was videoing, but it wasn't showing on my end. But let me know if everything looks good for you. All right, and we've started a brand new paper pumpkin kit for August, and it's called Meaningful Flowers. And if you sign up before August 10th, you can get an extra stamp set with your kit. So you'll get 2 stamp sets instead of just 1. And I'm kind of winging it here, trying to see, but I'm going to hope for the best here. So Paper Pumpkin Kit, you could sign up until August 10th. And the August Paper Pumpkin Kit is full of flowers that carry a sweet meaning. The blue forget-me-nots represent loyalty and remind you of your favorite memories with those you care for. The lotus blossom represents overcoming challenges and encouraging those around you. With this kit, you can create special paper crafts that are personalized for your loved ones in both design and significance. This month's kit includes 8 cards, 4 each of 2 designs, 8 coordinating envelopes, 1 pretty peacock Stampin' Spot, 1 photopolymer stamp, and if you sign up before August 10th to get this, you get an extra stamp set with that, so it'll be 2 stamp sets, pre-cut paper pieces of watercolor designs, enough adhesive to complete the project. And there's a link in the description of my video where you can click on that and it'll take you directly to Paper Pumpkin. And this is really bugging me with my laptop not working right. I'm going to have to bring up my iPad so I can watch. I've got that right here, so let me go ahead and get that hooked up and going. I don't know what's going on with my laptop, why it's doing that. And I need to mute this first off. Give me just a second. It should bring it right up. Creating cards with Debbie. And there we are right there. So, okay. Problem with this, I can't see my comments right away. Sharon, welcome aboard. Yeah, great that you're able to watch. How are you feeling? And don't forget that we've got online exclusives going on. And last Thursday on the 6th, we just added some more online exclusive products. And as you kind of see here, a little sneak peek, there's a punch of a truck and a sleigh and horse. And the designer series paper, the 6x6, is really pretty. I thought I had some more papers here to show of that, but I guess I don't have them right here. So on the online exclusives, those aren't in the catalogs. When you go onto my store on the left-hand column, you'll see online exclusives. Just click on that tab and it'll take you directly to what's available. This is the second time they've added items, so lots of good stuff in there that we kind of overlook and forget about. And during the month of July, Stampin' Up! Is doing Earn to Redeem, our bonus. They're called bonus days. And from July 6th until July 31st, shop with me and earn a $5 coupon for every $50 you spend. Then you redeem those coupons in August. But be sure Stampin' Up! Will email the coupon to you, so be sure that you keep that coupon because you'll need to use that coupon code to when you check out in August to get your rewards. So every $50 you get $5, so that could count up a little bit. It doesn't take long to spend $50. I think my orders are usually way over that. So it says shop and it says bonus days, shop and earn a $5 coupon for every $50 you spend between July 6th and July 31st. There's no limit to show how many coupons you can earn. Make sure to use a valid email address when completing your purchase. And then number 2, save. After placing your order, the coupon code or codes will be emailed to you. Save those emails, write down or save the codes, or even take a picture of the codes so you don't miss out on any savings. And then in August, between August 1st and August 31st, you can redeem your coupons. Use as many coupon codes as you want during checkout. Tip, remember to separate each code by a space and make sure to use them all before the month is over. You don't want to lose them. That's like money in the bank. All right. So, let me get rid of my mess here and we'll get started. So with my iPad, I got to keep swiping it off to the side to be able to see the comments. So if I don't answer you right away, that's the reason. All right, so we're going to start out with our fun fold today. We had a team meeting last night and we did mystery stamping, and it was a fun fold. It's really cute, so I wanted to duplicate it today. Here's the one that I made for the team meeting last night. It says, "You've got something to crow about," and then it opens like this, and then each side opens, and it says, "It's your birthday" on the inside. So it's just a little fun fold, and I wanted to share that with everybody today. So I'm going to be using the Playing in the Rain stamp set, and the paper that we're using is, let me get this out of here. I've got everything piled up here. I don't want it to fall on the floor and make a big crash. Okay, it's the Countryside Inn 12 by 12 paper, and this is really pretty. I've got multiple packs of it because I like it so much. And set that aside. And we're using the boho blue textured ribbon, which is one of our new colors. And I think that's all. And also we'll be using the opaque ovals. And our Stylish Shapes dies is another thing that we're using. But let me go ahead and show you the inside of our card. It says, "Rainy days are better with you." And then it opens like this and then crosses over. And then I've got in the center, it says, "Oh, happy day," with an umbrella. So it's just a kind of a cute little fold, I think. So something different. So we're going to take our whole sheet of boho blue, which is our 8.5 by 11 inch paper, cardstock. And we're going to do some scoring. So if I can get this all in camera view, we're pretty much all... Okay, good, Sharon. Good to hear. I was going to give you a message the other day and I got busy and got sidetracked, so I didn't get around to it. So we're going to score it in the middle at 5.5. And make sure you got the scoring blade and not your cutting blade. I have done that by mistake. You know what happens. And then on each side, we're going to score it at 2 1/8 inches. I'm just making sure on my notes. Yes, 2 1/8. And that's that little line that's in between the 4th and the 2. And we'll score that. And then we're going to turn it around and get the other side. Again at 2 1/8 inches. Okay. So that's all the scoring that we're doing on that. So we're going to put our paper trimmer away. And I'm going to burnish all of my folds here to get our lines good with my bone folder. And lines at the 2 1/8 inch side. Alright, and then we're going to, on our top left and our top right side, we're going to cut out these squares. So I'm just going to bring my paper snips and we're going to do that. So I'm going to cut alongside our score line. And keep those scraps because you can use them for something else later on. You know, we're paper hoarders and we don't like to throw our scraps away. Alright, and then we're going to cut along this line, this score line. Okay, so here we have our card. It should look like this. And these will fold in and this will fold over. And you might have to score that again to make it lay down. And looks like I cut a little crooked, but that's okay. And let me straighten that up a little bit. It got a little jaggy. You know, I can't cut a straight line. Alright, that's a little better. Alright, so we're going to set that aside for just a moment. And we're going to come in with our pieces of Designer Series paper. And I'm just wondering if I should give all the dimensions or just give dimensions as I go. I think I'll just give them as I go, otherwise it's going to be too confusing. So we've got our basic weight, which measures alright, I'm trying to read my directions. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then our Designer Series paper, it measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and glue those together so I don't confuse myself any more than I am already. And my choice of adhesive is our Tombow glue. Some people call it green glue, liquid glue. I just call it Tombow. And we're going to attach that to our white layer. Our 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch layer. And I want to get that fairly straight. Alright, I'll press that down. And I'm going to set that aside. We're going to come back and work with that one. And then we've got, this is for the inside. This measures, let me get my instructions. It's 2 1/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And that's going to go into our center of our card with this white layer over the top of it. And this measures 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So we're just going to lay that there for now. And then we've got 4 panels that are going to go onto our handles right here, the inside and the outside. And we've got those, all 4 are going to measure 1 7/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I've just turned them over so we have alternate sides. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start gluing those down. And it doesn't matter which way you go. You could either go this way or this way. So, but I'm going to go with the flowered side on the front panel and then the trees on the inside. So I'm going to start out with the inside. And we just glue those down. Be sure you like and share the video. That helps me bring more viewers and keeps me doing the free videos each week. Alright, make sure my trees are right side up and they're not upside down. Alright, so here's our inside of our flaps. Now we're going to do the outside flaps. And we'll do the same thing, we'll glue those down. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, be sure that you hit that subscribe button and that little bell. That way you'll be notified when I put new videos up. I'd really appreciate that also. And I think there is a like and a share button on YouTube also that you can click on. Okay, so we got those down. And then we might as well put our inside layer down. And usually I got to cut this off because I usually make it longer than what it called for. But I'd rather have it too long than not long enough. I can always clip off the bottom if I have to. And of course it's just a hair over, so we're going to just turn that over and snip that excess off. And get my scissors in here right. Get that flap out of the way. Okay, so there's our card so far. And we'll set that aside. We're going to work on our front of our card. And I've already die cut a circle out of our basic white, and I used this die out of the Stylish Shapes. So I did that ahead of time to save a little time. So we're just going to stamp our bunny onto there, onto that circle. And I'm using our black memento ink. Ink came up really good. I think I got a little bit too much on him, so I'm going to blot him off a little bit. Scrap paper over here. I just inked up my memento the other day, so I've got a little bit too much on him. So let's do this again. And I must have a spot there that's got more ink because it's globbing on the one ear a little bit, but let me see what he looks like. It might not be all too bad. Oh, he looks okay. He's a little light on some other areas, but we're not going to sweat that. And then I've got a scrap of basic white. And we're going to stamp our sentiment on there, as long as we've got our ink pad out. And that one says, rainy days are better with you. Let me test out my stamp here. Well, I'm not real happy with that one. Let's try it again. Well, it's not. Okay, we're going to go with that 3 times. Third time's a charm, as I say. And we're going to bring in our baby boho blue. Stampin' embossing, or cut and emboss machine. And this is available yet, the boho blue, besides the white one. So The blue is only available while supplies last, but I think they're still available. I hadn't seen anything different. I'm just making sure which one I want to use here. And where did I put the die? There it is. And I'm using the banner out of the Sally Shapes to cut out our sentiment. And I'm going to just lay that on top of our sentiment. And use a little bit of washi tape here to hold them in place. I don't want them slipping on me. And run that through. Hopefully I'm not wiggling the camera too much. And fold that back up. And there's our sentiment. Get these out of the way. Let's put the lid on our glue again. Alright, so I've got Boho Blue Stampin' Up! Blends, and then I've got the light petal pink. And I didn't color the bunny himself. I just colored his raincoat and the puddle, and then his nose and ears. So let's start out with his ears. I'm using the light petal pink. Just giving him a little color, not a lot of color. I figured the bunny could stay white. I could have stamped him a little bit better. It's kind of light, but that's okay. And I'm going to use the dark Boho Blue to outline his raincoat. Give it a little shading. I don't know if that's my husband out there mowing today. Seems like every time I do a video live, he's got to mow that day. I know he was out there cutting down tree branches earlier, so. And let's go ahead and outline that water a little bit. And then we'll come back in with the light Boho Blue and we'll fill him in. His raincoat and the water puddle are both Boho Blue. And the puddle. Looks like he's having a good time splashing around that water puddle. We've had plenty of rain to make water puddles lately. Okay, that's all I'm going to color on him. So we'll put our blends away and our sentiment, and we're going to bring this layer back over, and we're going to use some of our ribbon. This is our textured ribbon, the Boho Blue, and I'm just going to eyeball that. I'm going to cut off about this much and then just attach it to the back with some Stampin' Seal. We'll just run a little strip on each side to hold the ribbon in place. Or you could use glue dots if you prefer, or some even use the tear and tape. Okay, we're going to place that along the bottom area. Oops, got my fingers sticking back there. And see if I can get it straight. Alright. Let me see if I can get that a little tighter. And scooch that up just a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our glue on there, and then we're going to attach that to our card front. Let me trim down these ribbons a little bit. Okay. Now we can put that onto our card front. And I'm going to just lay this open so I can maybe get a good placement of it. And leaving a small border going around. There. Alright. I'm going to close that. Let me use my bone folder to enforce that a little bit more. And close down our fronts. And then we're going to put our bunny up on dimensionals. And I'm going to put 5 dimensionals on the back side of him because I want it to keep from sinking too much. I don't want it sagging in the middle. And then I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool to pop off those dimensional backings. And we're going to place him in the upper top portion of our card front. And then our sentiment's going to go on top of our ribbon. And I'm going to use mini glue dots to hold him down. And I've used up my whole box of mini glue dots. They come like this. So I'm using, these are the mini glue dots that you get with your paper pumpkin kits. So I need to put glue dots on my order next time. I didn't realize I was getting that low on them. So let's place that on top of our ribbon. I'm going to put it off to the right side. Alright. Now we want to bring some bling to our card. So I've got the opaque ovals. And I'm going to place 3 of those onto our card front. So let me put that away for now. And I'm going to use the other end of our Take Your Pick tool that's got the putty end. And I'm going to place 3 on there. And it's always tough trying to decide where you put. I'm going to put that on top of the water. Looks like a water spot, a splash. Alright, so there's the outside of our card, and I'm going to bling it a little bit more. I'm going to use my Wink of Stella just on his raincoat, his ears, well, on his nose. I'm not going to do his ears, and on the water puddle, just to give it a little bit of bling. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but I can see it in real life here. Alright, so here's the outside of our card. So let's finish working on that inside. We're going to stamp our sentiment in our umbrella. And we're going to put Oh Happy Day on the inside plus the umbrella. So I'm going to bring out my black memento ink again. And we're going to stamp that sentiment right about in the middle. And the umbrella next to that. Close up our ink pad. And I'm going to bring my boho blue Stampin' Blends back over here. And I'm going to start out with the dark first. And do a little shading. And then come back in with the light boho blue. And fill the rest of that in. And then we can put that on the inside of our card. And we're just going to center that over our designer series paper. There. If you wanted more space to write on, you could also put a white cardstock on the back to write on if you needed more room. But this is big enough to sign your name on. Okay, so there's our first card. Happy days are better with you. Or no, rainy days are better with you. And then on the inside it says, oh, happy day. So that's our first card, our fun fold for the day. So let's clean up our area a little bit here, and we'll bring out the next card. And our next card is using mostly dies. I debated on this one if I really liked it or not, but I guess it didn't turn out too bad. I'm using the Gorgeously Made dies, and also I'm using, for the sentiments, I'm using Sending Smiles and the Pansy Patch. So it says, a note of thanks, and the little things you do make such a big difference. And that's from the Pansy Patch die or stamp set. And then a note of thanks comes from Sending Smiles. Yeah. Alright, let me get all my supplies out here. Make a little bit of room here. All of our bits and pieces, my instructions. Alright, so we're going to start out with our card base, which is our Pretty Peacock, and that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So we're just going to burnish that edge of our card base. And for the outside of the card, I use the die that makes the little ridges, like it's out of a notebook paper where you rip it. So this is our designer series paper. It comes from Glorious Gingham 6x6 paper, and all the different colors. There's only the 2 patterns. It's only this gingham check and then this gingham check, so just the 2 patterns. Okay, but this is a die that cut our edges there. That's with those dies. So and then I cut, let me get the dies out here to show you. I use this die to cut out our flowers, and I cut out of the Pretty Peacock, a white, basic white, and then our specialty paper, which is the More Dazzle. And that's kind of a returning item. It was kind of in the last one of our past catalogs, but it was called something different. Now they're just calling it More Dazzle 6x6 paper. So those are using this die, the flower. And I'm going to bring out my silicone mat because I want to put some glue on these guys and not get it all over. But I'm going to attach this one to our card base first. And I kind of like this side too, but it's, I thought the other side was a little bit more muted for this card choice. And I'm going to put it at an angle a little bit. We're not going to put it straight on, so just make sure you don't go over the edges. So it's angled just a tiny bit, not a lot. Alright, now we're going to start with our dazzle paper, and we're going to put some dots of glue on the back side of that. And you could use a sponge or something to do this with, but I'm just putting dots of glue behind some of the flowers leaves. I'm not doing the whole thing. Just enough to hold it in place is what we need. Alright. I'm going to place that right in the center of our designer series paper layer. And just hold it down for a moment to let it adhere. Alright, and then we're going to do the white one next. I think I'm getting glue all over my fingers. My fingers are sticking to things. Between the glue and the ink, you can tell that we're crafters. We're making pretties that we end up with glue and ink on us. Okay, and this one I'm going to kind of angle it a little bit. And the same with that. We're just kind of hold that down for a bit. And if you wanted, you could put a stamp set on top of there to hold it in place. Let me do that once I get it situated again here. Let's use our stamp set to hold that down. And I've got so much glue on my fingers, I'm sticking. And our last one is our pretty peacock. This is a returning color. I'm glad that they brought it back. It was one of my favorites. And I might put a little extra on this one because it sits on top of all of them. And don't want any more, maybe right there. Some more right there. Alright, that should be good. I'll pick that up and lay it on top of our other two there. And I think I'm going to let the stamp set do its job and hold those down while I wipe the glue all off my fingers. And all right. Now what did I do with that die? It's already in here. And then the dies here, it also has this little label maker. It's kind of cool. It's got the edges are kind of rippled. I don't know how to describe that. And so anyway, I cut out the designer series paper with that. And then I also cut out the white, but I when I die cut it, I moved it up on my paper to make it skinnier, and then I moved my die over to make it shorter. So hope I explained that right. But we're going to stamp our sentiment down there, and it says, a note of thanks, and we're going to use the black memento. And I think my husband's going to come in the house here. Hope he remembers I'm doing my live. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we're going to stamp that onto our label here. I think I smudged it. I did. I had a little bit of ink on my fingers, but that's okay. And then we'll attach that to our designer series paper. And he just remembered that I'm live, so he's going to go into the back door. Alright. Now it moved on me, and I've got ink smearing. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't do another one because I've got that all smudged. Let me do another one. I'm going to bring out my scraps. I cut all the 1/2 inches that I cut off by paper. I saved those little strips, and then I can use them to make my sentiment strips. It comes in handy. So I'm going to bring our baby boho over here again. And I'm going to show you how I did the shorter ones here. And my plates are right there. So I'm going to move things out of the way here so I can get you in camera view here a little bit better. And I don't have any washi tape handy. So I'm going to bring my washi tape over here. I should have one. We're going to start a new one. And to make your washi tape not quite as sticky, you can either stick it on your hand to get the oils off your hand, or you can do it on your clothes, and it takes some of the tackiness away, so you don't rip your paper. So I'm going to lay this on there, but I want to make it skinnier than what the other one is. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and leave a bit of space there. And bring our plates over here and run that through our baby boho. And then again, we're going to shorten that. So we're going to put our blade over just a little bit to shorten that end. And run it through again. That crackling is normal, so don't let that scare you. It's just the blades that are cutting. Let me put that washi tape up there so I can use it again. So here's our shorter piece. We're going to bring our silicone mat back over here. Plates over there. Now let's stamp this again. Hopefully I don't get ink all over again. I think it's probably on my lid of my stamp pads where I'm getting the ink from. Just try not to touch anything. Okay, that's much better. I'm going to let that dry for just a moment. And I'm going to grab me a baby wipe and make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. Thank goodness for baby wipes. All right. Now we're going to attach that just right over that other smeared one. Add our glue. And just layer it right over the top of that other one. And we'll never know the difference. So let's bring our card back over here. And I placed it up on mini dimensionals. Well, I guess the big ones, regular size, would work too. So I'm going to put one at each end, just using two. Take the backings off. And we're going to place that off to our left side so that we're covering the stems of our flowers. Alright, so there's our card. And we're going to add a little bit of bling, so we're going to use, these are the pastel adhesive back sequins. And I'm going to use the gold. There's two different sizes. There's small and then there's larger ones. So they're two different sizes. You get two sheets in there of all the colors. So I'm going to take my take your pick tool with the pointy end, and we're going to grab 3 of those. And I think we'll put one right there, another, over in this corner, and another maybe right here. Okay, so there's our outside of our card. And on the inside, it's a basic white, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got a 1/2 inch strip of the Designer Series paper by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to just, well, I think we're going to stamp our sentiment first to make sure we don't do something wrong that we got to start over. So, and I'm going to bring my silicone mat over here because I don't have my Stampin' and Pierce mat over here because we're using photopolymer stamps right now. And you need a little bit of cushion under those. So the little things you do make such a big difference. And where's our strip? There it is. I've got a new bottle of glue and it's coming out pretty fast. I've got ink on me again. It's got to be coming from my lid of my stamp pad. And we're going to place that along the side with a little border. And then we can turn that over and trim it. I've got ink smudges here, but that's the inside of this I'm going to show, so we're not going to worry about that. I'm just making sure I don't get any more on the outside. And we'll place that on the inside of our card. Move that aside. Okay. A note of thanks. And move that out of the way so we don't put our card into our ink pad. And the little things you do make such a big difference on the inside. So that's our second card. And I did have a gold bow that I was going to use, but I didn't like how it looked. Let me get your opinion on that. It's using the Simply Elegant ribbon, and I just messed up my bow. Simply Elegant trim. And that was a double bow, but I really messed it up. So I was going to put a bow right down here, but I didn't like how it looked, so I just went with it without. What do you think? No bow? Let's see if I can tie one really quick here. Probably not. Well, it's not the best bow, but kind of get an idea. So do you like the bow at the bottom or not? Or without? Gosh, I'm getting a frog. Bow or no bow? I've got a delay on my iPad here, so I'm kind of waiting for comments. Okay, I think I'm going to go no bow. We'll save that for another project. All right, and our next one is going to be Rise and Shine. And I'm using the stamp set Hey Chuck and the dies. Hey Chuck dies. And then I'm also using the Radiating Stitches dies. So I'm going to leave those aside here, put that aside. Trying to clean off my area here a little bit. So Rise and Shine. And then on the inside it says, You Rule the Roost. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. Get my bits and pieces out here. Bring out all of our stamps that we're using. And I need to snitch one here, so I'm going to get my Simply Chamois and clean this stamp off so I can use the acrylic block. I guess I need to order some more blocks because it seems like I'm always running short on them. Alright, I think that's good. And the Simply Chamois, you can get that in our catalog. And what it is just a little chamois mat. It's kind of thick. And you just wet it with water and then you rinse it out when it's dirty. So, no chemicals. Very economical. Okay, so we're going to grab our fence and we're going to place that on our stamp, our acrylic block. Alright, so I'm going to get my bits and pieces out here. I've got the instructions. Just trying to pick up a little bit here and make a little room. Alright, so we're going to start out with our card base, which is our thick basic white. And it's 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And then it's scored in the middle at 5.5 inches. And we're going to burnish that edge. And we'll set that aside. And then we have our Lemon Lolly cardstock, and I've already die cut that using our radiating stitches dies. And I have used this die to cut that out with. And also I've got our basic white cardstock, and I die cut this layer out using the middle die from that. So that's all the die cutting I did with those. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching our layers. I'm going to put our Lemon Lolly down first. And center that on the front of our card front. And we're going to set that aside. We're going to work on our basic white layer. And I've already die cut the sun, which is this die right here. And I die cut that out of Daffodil Delight cardstock. And I'm going to stamp our fence onto our, this is our copper clay cardstock, one of our new colors. So here's the fence, and I'm going to use our copper clay ink pad. And I'm going to put the lid on that black before I have an accident with that. And make sure I've got my fingers cleaned off. So we're going to be using copper clay stamp pad. And I'm just going to stamp our fence using that with that scrap of paper. And when I'm doing that, I'm also stamp our sentiment, which is Rise and Shine. It's going to be stamped onto our basic white. And I'm going to stamp that down on the bottom center. And then I'm going to set our stamp set aside, or stamp pad aside. And I'll grab a scrap of our white, basic white, and I'm going to stamp our chicken, our rooster. And I'm going to bring that black memento ink over here. And we'll stamp him on the scrap of basic white. Put the lid back on that. Make sure the fingers are clean. And then I'm going to my Stampin' Blends over here, and we're going to do some coloring. And we're going to start out with our Lemon Lolly. We're going to do his body with that. And I'm going to start with the dark Lemon Lolly. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of highlighting. And then we're going to do the light Lemon Lolly to do the rest of his body and his wings. that wing over here. Alright. And where did I put that at? Okay. I'll also put it back in there when I'm done. And, uh-oh. I did a Daffodil Delight on there. Let me do the, yeah, we're going to leave it as is. We're going to do his beak with the dark pumpkin pie. And his legs. Legs and feet. I'm looking at my colors here, I got mixed up. And we're going to use the dark Daffodil Delight to do his tail feathers with, and the top of his head. And we've got light wild wheat to do his neck. And real red light to do his tongue and his wattle underneath his neck. And then we've got light pumpkin pie to do his eyelid with. So he's really colorful. And we're going to bring our boho blue back over here, and we're going to die cut the fence and the rooster. So bring our plates back over here. And I don't know if I can fit both through at the same time. Maybe. I think I can. Okay, we've got the fence. Take that out. And let's make that a little smaller. We don't need all that paper there. And take our fence, put that down. And we'll find our chicken. Is that the right one? Yeah. And place down there, right? So I don't cut off any parts of them I don't want to cut off. And I'm going to grab my washi tape over here that I saved. And I can run that through. Boho blue, do your job here. Set over there. Okay, there's our fence. And our wild rooster here. Gotta laugh every time I see him. Alright, now we're going to take our sun and place that down and make sure I've got it where I want it before I start gluing down. And I'm going to lower these a little bit. the sunshine peeking out from the back of the fence. And then he's going to sit up here, but I'm going to put him up on mini dimensionals first. I take your pick tool to take those backings off. And maybe one more right there. And maybe another one right there. Alright, so we're going to lay him aside for a moment. We're going to start attaching our sunshine. And just kind of center that. And the fence, we're going to place that up on dimensionals too. Pop them up. And remove those dimensional backings. And then we're going to place the fence just below the sun. So it's peeking out from the fence line there. And grab our rooster, our crazy rooster. And he's going to be standing on that fence post there. And for our ribbon, we're using the sheer ribbon combo. And I'm going to be using the Lemon Lolly color. And I'm just going to eyeball how much I want cut off here. I might have put this one up a little bit more than I did my other one. But that's okay, we're going to make it work. So I'm going to take some of those mini glue dots. To hold our ribbon down. And with this ribbon, you can kind of flare the ruffles at the edge of it. So I'm just pulling the strings out so I can get a little bit of ruffling going on. And then I'll trim off that excess. And same over here. And let's place that ribbon down underneath our fence. And just have it sticking out a little bit. And trim off that excess ribbon there. And I got little threads all over the place. And it's sticking to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and attach this to our card front. Bring our card back over here. And we're going to place that down in the center of our card, making sure it's the right side up. And for our embellishments, we're using the adhesive back solid gems, and these are in colors. We're going to use the Lemon Lolly, and let's use medium size and 2 of the small ones. let's bring some Winkostella and put a little bit on his beak and his tongue and his wattle. And maybe some on his eyelid. And for the inside, we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is "You Rule the Roost." And bring back our stamp pad, the copper clay. You Rule the Roost. And we're going to use that same stamp pad to stamp our chicken at the bottom. And I'm not going to color the chicken down there. We're just going to leave that the way it is. Oh, something on my finger there. All right, let me close up my glue. Clean this off a little bit. Make sure my fingers aren't inky. Okay, rise and shine. You rule the roost. I think that's so cute. I love that chicken set. So let me grab my baby wipe that I dropped on the floor. Make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers before I go touching everything. So that's our 3 cards for today. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. And let me bring them all back here. So I'm going to make sure that they fit on camera view here. All right. And let me look at next week's date for our next Facebook Live. Will be it'll be July 19th already. My gosh, this month is going to go flying by too. So July 19th, 1 o'clock Central Time, same channel, same station. And I'm hoping that you like the cards today. Be sure that you like and share the video. And if you're watching it on YouTube later today, be sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click on that little bell, and then you'll be notified each time I load a video onto YouTube. So I want to thank you for being here today. Y'all have a safe and healthy rest of the week. And we'll see you next Wednesday, July 19th, 1 o'clock Central Time. Thank you. Bye-bye.